Happy Saturday! I am still slightly not entirely sure what the actual day is. I'm pretty sure it's a Saturday today. So, I believe everything should be working. I've had a good little play around, so I think everything should be working. I'm hoping that I am loud enough as well, but if anybody thinks I'm a bit quiet, I am happy to turn myself up. That's absolutely fine. Hopefully that should be all okay. Let's double check. Hello, 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 hello. Hey! Just saying, check the stream's name. I changed it to the oh! Ah, the Schnabbly, huh? The Stanley. I don't even understand how I spelled that so wrong. There we go. Okay, and I think volume-wise that sounds a lot better. So perfect. Schnabb. I don't even understand. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. So you're hearing an echo now. Can you hear the echo now? Cool. Okay, so this is a game that Joe absolutely loves, and he has very much asked me to play it. So I'm going to. Please choose a screen and subtitle. English, please. Have you played the Stanley Parable before? No. Please adjust the slider until the computer is barely visible. Barely visible. I mean, yeah, I'm assuming I still want to be able to see it, right? Please enter the current time. That sounds like Discord. Hold on. We need to take Discord off. There we go. So it's 3:47. I apologize for starting the stream slightly late. 3:47. Yes. Hokey pokey. I literally have no idea what this game is. Okay, is the game loud enough for everybody? Let me just have a quick look. Think it should be okay. Okay. Perfect. Let's add and space. Okie dokie. Controller vibration off. Because I don't have a controller. When you do that is, oh, it's infinite. Okay, I'm ready. Never the game is, never the end is. What?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
Oh, just a number.
Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year.
Oh, job
and
satisfaction.
Although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley.
Was he not
Something
happy
he
anymore?
would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Does he ever leave his office? Oh, I'm Stanley. Oh, I'm Stanley. Okay. Dude, I like slide. What am I wearing? Like friggin' roller skates? Can I interact?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Hey.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Whoosh. Whoosh. I'm on skates. I have no idea where a meeting room is. Surname. They spelled surname wrong. Surname. Oh, there's a ladder in there. Are the meeting rooms this way?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
What if I go right?
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Yep, that's what I want to do. Oh, the game's going to get upset with me, huh?
Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room.
So the
Stanley
narrator
simply
gets
stood
upset.
here, drinking it all in.
Beautiful. Okay.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I mean, do I want to keep upsetting him? Oh, the temptation.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie if you're lying right now. Stop. Do not jump from the cargo lift while it's in motion. It will cause death.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Ah!
In his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
I see.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Oh, I see. Okay. Maybe I don't upset the narrator anymore.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
That's funny.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I mean, we don't know if the narrator is good or bad, right?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
I'm loving the how not to get fired, how to solve a dispute with a coworker. Using slides to show employees that everything is okay. Get Chris out of the broom closet. Hire someone to synergize papers. Papers are too synergized. Fire the paper guy. Hire someone to fire the paper guy. Funny. Appreciate your boss. Are you still in here?
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Yes. Sorry, narrator.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Oh my god, what is down there? Why is it red and angry? Oh no. Ooh. Okay, we'll listen to the game. Oh my god, it's a bit fancy up here, isn't it? Executive bathroom. How nice is it? Ooh, fancy. Because the boss knows that what the boss says goes, if the boss suffered losses, then that's what the boss chose. Did he give himself a pep talk whilst in the toilet? I do not like the door. What sort of picture is that? Business strategy. Shoot the pandas? That's a horrible business strategy. Ooh, there's a lift. Okay, so this is just a lift room. Maybe we have to go up.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
Oh.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Okay, so if Stanley couldn't have possibly known it, do I do it or do I not do it?
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
I see. Where am I doing?
2845.
My god, he gets so angry. 2, 8, 4, 5.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
What the heck? I don't want to go down there. That's terrifying. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing either, lovely. I think that's the point of this game so far. I'm looking at the pictures. Very pretty pictures. Oh, good grief. It's a bit dark. Okay.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Right. So are we losing the plot? Ah! Oh, lift is broken. What is that?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
I don't want to go to the mind control facility. Run away.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
Okay, so I've really upset the narrator now.
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow. I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Sassy.
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this?
He's a sassy narrator.
Surely this time Stanley will walk forward into the spooky corridor. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Escape!
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
I don't believe you.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Run!
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Get me out of here! Whee! Okay. Hey, guess what, guys?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life.
Get me out, get me out, get me
There you
out!
go, Stanley.
Ah!
Farewell, Stanley. cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
I have a second narrator.
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Smash! Not smash? I'm so confused. Why do we have a different narrator now?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
This is a good question.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see
cool.
that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
What's down here? My god, where the hell am I? In early development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on a battlefield fighting aliens. We realized shortly after starting that it was too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. I see. What is your message for today? I'm lost. I don't understand what I'm doing. Walking around, I guess.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Is this basically me being told off because
No,
I wasn't listening?
Perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking...
Maybe I should listen to this lady. Hey guys, guess what? It closes the game down. Please enter the current time. I broke the game in not very long at all. Hang on. Before we get started, can I just say something? Thank you for actually setting the clock both times that you booted up the game. A lot of people don't take that step seriously. They just leave the clock set at 12 and call it a day. You've actually taken the time to set the clock, and I appreciate that. That's how I know that you care about this experience. You're paying attention. I don't even have any way of knowing if the times you've set are correct. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. Since you've been so cooperative, next time you boot up the game and see this screen, just set the clock to your favourite time. Go ahead, pick whichever time you want, even if it's not the correct time. You've earned it. Alright, I'll let you get back to the video game now. What the heck? People have a favourite time. People have a favourite time?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Okay, we're gonna skip that because we've seen it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Like how chat's like, these are my favourite times.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Meow, speed run. Yet
there was not a single person here either.
Meow.
Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Why can't I? I could go in it before. Why can't I go in it now? Oh! But I went in this room before. I want to go in this room. Assholes. But I could open this door. That's so annoying.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
New Age music, huh? Oh, we have upset the game.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
No! Speed run, speed run, speed run! He can't tell me what to do. Yeah, zoom! More rollerblades anyway.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Zoom, zoom, zoom. Meow. I want to know what the yellow things are.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind
I
Control
really want
Facility.
to go to escape. I won't do. Lumpa lumpa dumpa dum. Let's go get mind controlled.
The
Big
lights
button.
rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
Ooh.
What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Oh, I can't leave. You've locked the door, haven't you? Yeah. Sorry, I got the sniffles.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed.
Oh,
Each
wow.
bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Wait, one of them just had, like, writing. Does that mean they're, like, dead? Two of them have writing. What does that mean?
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
I mean, dude, all you did was press
No.
buttons.
He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Oh my god, is this game just wanting people to quit their jobs?
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life.
Oh, I'm
For
like
he
turning it on.
would dismantle the controls once and for all.
1, 2. I don't know how to do that. How do I do that? Where's 4? We've got 1, 2, and 3. I don't see 4. Is this a puzzle? So hold on. 1. 2. I'm assuming you didn't just send that message like 5 times, because it just came up on my screen 5 times. That's number 5.
And when at last he found the source of the root... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say,
Now?
2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires.
Like the music.
Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means, I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated. All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the
1,
machine. I set you free.
2.
Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then
Oh
dying
no,
alone.
where's 3? I lost 3.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything
3.
and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich.
Run!
Go! But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These
3.
number
Where's 3?
buttons. No, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button. Or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would
3.
you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Sold?
But I'm pressing 3.
Any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you.
What's that?
That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But
Okay.
I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock.
Goodbye,
Sam.
employee.
That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here. Just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same.
Oh, it's making me feel
all
sick.
a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say happily ever after.
I keep upsetting the narrator. Oh look, it's my office. How crazy.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
job.
go to the meeting room.
Thanks.
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Like, I want to obviously know the
When
story,
Stanley
but I
came
feel
to a
like
set of
the
2
story
open
is
doors,
basically
he entered the door on his left.
possibly not that,
Yet there was not a single
like,
person
not
here
that much,
either.
but it's
Feeling
made
a
so
wave
much
of
bigger
disbelief, Stanley
because
decided to go up to
of
his
all the
boss, and coming
choices.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Kill surprise.
I'm sorry, did he just speedrun it? Well. Rude.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Oops. Like, I want to, just because he's annoying me. And how dare anyone try and control me. But I really don't want to have to walk through the building again.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had
I wanna
Stanley really been under
skip
someone's
you.
control all
Come on.
this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No.
You
He
can't jump.
refused to
I just got an
believe it.
achievement.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly
That's not fair.
spent his
In the
entire life
instructions.
utterly
Instructions?
blind to the world?
In the controls, it says we can jump.
But
That's
here
so
was the
mean!
proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this
Spacebar
very
has no
place.
function,
And
absolutely.
as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For
Ha! Turned you off this time.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Bow, bow. Down, down.
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
What is that?
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
I don't
For
believe
it was
that's a
not knowledge or
door.
even
It's probably a big
power that
screen
he
or
had
something.
been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed
Let me
to
out.
know.
Let me out.
It was
Let me out.
perhaps
Let me out. Let me out.
the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
No, I didn't.
Stanley felt the cool breeze
Ah.
upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before
I
him.
don't trust it.
This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
I'm like, did I actually beat the game? I mean, you say happy ending. We're literally right
All of his
back here.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Congrats, you won. Do it again.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I don't really understand.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Do I? Okay, I
Coming
didn't
to a
go
staircase,
down.
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No, I'm going down. What is that? Hi, love. I can't read it.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my
1, 2,
co-workers
3,
blinking
4.
mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical
So
sense.
I need to know
And as
that.
Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
It's a
Why did
very good
doors
question.
close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, This is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion
Dun,
that it had been
dun,
on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream.
Dreaming.
What a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. He imagined
Whoa!
himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head.
What the
One he was
fuck?
amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
Okay, so we're
And while
literally
he
going
thought
in
it
loop.
all
So is
very
there something
odd
I
and
can
wondered
do?
If this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He
Everyone,
felt
do it
the
with
cool
me.
weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself.
Let me wake
I'm
up.
through with this dream. I wish
Let
it to
me
be
wake
over.
up.
Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Oh look, we're still in the room.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I'm real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
I think I killed Stanley again.
This is the
Oops.
story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't.
I see.
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Okay. It didn't go very well then.
This is the story of a man named...
I'm confused. Where do I put the time? I wanna change the time. Oh, understand. Okay, and then we just click play, right? For a second it wasn't working. I was like, the game's like, no. Okay. Yeah. Please play me. Oh, we've gone out of sliders. Should be ready by the next time you boot up the game. Okay. Or wait until I die again.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 42. All of his co-workers were, oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause.
Give me
Perhaps
my
50 clicks will do it.
achievement.
Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks. No, I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley. I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
417. Where is door 417?
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
He's playing with me.
There isn't a door 437. Oh, this is.
Excellent. I think we're getting somewhere. Now, door 415. Let's give it 10 clicks or so.
No, you're lying to me. What if I... Not playing this game anymore.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
I'm like, let me in.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here. So coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Does anything ever change? Like, if I get to the room with all the buttons and I click yes, can I somehow change that? Or is that just going to be running around like crazy? Are there any other options if I go down? I don't think so. Like, I got the happy ending. Why do I want to ruin this? Money in the morning, money in the evening, money for breakfast, money crisp.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
1, 2,
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
69,
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Let me out! Let me out!
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now?
So,
when for
do I
years
think that
it
the
had
buttons
never
and stuff
occurred
are
to him?
actually something
This question would
that
not go
will help?
unanswered for long.
Like, are there puzzles? Do these things mean things? Do you mean...
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Sure. Let's do this bit.
The lights rose on an
Then
enormous
let's go into the
packed
room,
with television
check
screens.
the
What horrible
monitors,
secret did this
because I
place
think
hold? Stanley thought
I
to
noticed
himself.
at the end
Did he have the strength
there were
to find
numbers
out?
on the screen. So let's see if we can do that. It might work, it might not.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And
How many
Stanley,
endings are there?
one of them, eternally monitored in this
Somebody
place
Google
where
that
freedom meant
shit.
nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That
That
his
one's fired.
emotions had been manipulated to accept it
Oh
blindly?
dear.
No. He refused to believe it.
No.
He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
The power.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go. Turn the controls off and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than
wait.
that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, the
Can't do it.
nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Ah.
Long until
Okay,
detonation
I do think there's something here because there's 5.
Say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story
Right.
now. Shape
Oh.
it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to
Right.
enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious
How did
moments
that
each
work?
one of them
I don't
is.
understand.
More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly
So
what happened
rude.
to them. I erased them. I turned off the
One.
machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of
One,
the story. Sometimes when I tell
two.
it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone.
3.
Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
So that's greenhouse.
My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not?
So those say
These are
number
precious
2.
additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear
2.
me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment.
Blue
but here's
buttons.
a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only
Wait,
still playing
is that
instead of watching a
actually-
cutscene because I want to watch you.
Ah,
every moment that you're
shut up
powerless,
and try to
to
cut
see
the jokes.
you made humble.
They're all 10,
This
aren't
is not
they?
a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so
Oh.
you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to strike. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
I'm hiding. Right. Let's quit and quit. Why won't it save me from the nuke? Hmm? I have just seen one of the achievements is called Don't Play the Stanley Parable for 10 years. That's ridiculous. It's got gaps, you see. Yes, that's the only reason why. I love it! No, never, don't ever adjust this ladder. I can't change. Oh, I see what you mean. What is the which of the two made-up words below is most appealing to you? Oku, Bo, Ian, Cal, or Scrumtush? Scrumtush. Yes. 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 Help. Yes. Yes. Quit the desktop and then come back. Screw the narrator, I found my new favorite. Does anyone really truly know? Of course they don't. Nobody knows anything. You and I don't even know each other. We're like strangers. Sure, I've adjusted all of the game settings to your exact specification, but who hasn't? It's just what I do, like a day job. And now, the job is over. There's no more information for me to gather. I've collected all the data on you that I can. And I still don't really know you. And you don't know me. And neither of us know what time it is. I guess some settings are just unsettable. But if I'm being totally honest, the clock doesn't do anything in the game anyway. You won't have me here when the game starts next time, but that's okay. Video games were meant to be played alone. You like being alone, don't you? That's maybe the only information I've really learned about you. He's not lovely anymore. It's time for me to leave. There is still one more setting that we need to adjust, but it may take a little time before I'm ready for that. It's not really in my job description, but that's okay. Perhaps you'll see me again, if you can find me. Talk soon. How do I find him? What do I do? Just like stop the game, play the game. Where is he? Developed by Crows. Oh, he's not here. Oh, so sad. Are you in here? I know, but I don't know where to find him. So how many endings have I had? I've died at least like what, 3 times? 4 times. I jumped. I got squishy did. I died more than that. Oh, the escape one. So I like, is that the squishy one? Where are you? Existential crisis stuff. It's true. I don't know how many times I've died before. What is death? Come on. Tell me the narrator's here. Tell me he's here. I don't think he's here, guys. Philomena Frankie. Philomena Frankie may actually be my favourite name. Samantha Cosmos Martin. Where is he? Like, I don't want to Google, but at the same time I now want to start Googling the different stuff. Created with Unity. Slippy Slidy's player management solutions. Hi, lovely. Thanks for stopping by. You mean you don't want to keep watching the credits? Imagine if they're just rolling and they never stop. Ever. Oh my god, are they never gonna stop? Flickr, photo, credit. Additional art assets. Valve. Sorry, Leroy. Who's Leroy? Grand PC. Kitty Gallis. Layla. The Bopping Gast. The Crows Discord community. The Discord mods. Violet Lamp. Delaware. Desk Game. Fiddle Pig. Grilled Cheese. Honking Cosmos Bunny. Mr. Filament. Anuki the Wash. Squidio. Wok. And you. Cool. Did not find... Okay, so where is he?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. all of his co-workers would... Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement?
No, I'm
Click a
trying
door
to
5
find...
times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No, 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 no. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say
You did it
that's the
before.
kind of
You
effort
sent me
that
on a
warrants
wild goose
recognition.
chase. I'm
When
not
Stanley
listening
came
to
to
you.
a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Oh, hello,
Yes, truly a
admiration.
room worth admiring. It
It's
had really
so
been worth the detour after all,
beautiful.
just to spend a few moments here in this inn. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off
Okay,
on the
let's
wrong
not
foot here.
jump
I'm not your
off.
enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
You?
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Who is
She's
she?
been waiting.
I don't know if I trust you. Oh, I'm gonna die, aren't I? Oh, it'll be the female narrator. Ah!
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her.
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here. Sorry, but you're in my story now.
Hey! Ugh, asshole.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
I don't want to.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life. But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From
Let me
behind
out!
his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him. And so he began to fantasize about
Oh my
his
god,
own
next
job.
time go on the
First,
elevator
he
but
imagined
jump
that
off
one
into
day
the
while
walkway.
at work, he
Ooh.
stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So, he
Press
went
B to
further.
spend time
He
with the
imagined that he came
boy.
to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean
Meow,
something
meow,
was
meow,
almost
meow.
too wonderful to behold.
To leave. Why won't you let me leave?
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down
Let
another
me
was a yellow line
out.
that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again,
Hey, lovely.
and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that
It's
he
a very
might
odd
always
game.
feel this free.
The narrator is very
Surely
funny
there's
though.
an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it. You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
Okay, so it's not press anything. Will it do anything?
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
And I tried again, and Stanley pressed the button. And I tried again, and Stanley pressed the button. We're back,
All of his
baby!
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
420.
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story.
New content? Oh, I want to go in.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
I don't know. I don't think I trust it. This looks like the death elevator. No! 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 I hate him. Jump off, jump off, jump off. Get me off, get me off, get me off, get me out.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over. Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable.
What do we think? Am I gonna die?
Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content. Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
There's no button.
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content.
I've never been more ready.
Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if them... oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Hey! Space does do something now. But down. Let's go. Oh. No! I'm not gonna...
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness. Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
We're gonna go straight. Oh no.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid.
Oh,
it could never
dear.
have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
What the heck? This is new. Wait, have I lost the narrator now?
Psst! Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Wait, hold on. I just wanna... Ooh, but I wanna look in the vent. When I die... I hate him.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special, and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
Whoa! Oh, that's so cool!
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had and over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content. Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories. These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the Memory Zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them. Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Oh dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down.
Such
Perhaps
a failure.
the Stanley parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Oh my god, are we going to drown
What's
ourselves?
this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley parable. That's my motto today, and it's
What
always
is
been my
that?
motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for,
Feel
and
like-
I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue for... Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes?
Right, what does it
It's
say
not
there? It's like
unendurable
10
by any
past
means, but it's...
7.
Well, there's really only... Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a... Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning...
Hush! Have we broken the narrator? I think we broke the narrator. That's so nice. I don't understand. What's that noise? I thought it was the clock. It was the fire alarm.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed.
So what is this? He goes from being angry to not saying anything at all?
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
We've broken him!
Is never the end.
Holy cow! Can I get out yet? Nope, not yet. Couple more skips. Oh, that's pretty. Oh, I love it. Oh no, what happened to everything? Oh no. This could really easily turn it into a horror game. No, button is broken. No more button. I mean, technically, does this mean I won the game? How long should I just keep walking for? It stopped it for me. Okay.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Nope, we're ignoring that for a second.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No. Right, what did you want me to jump
Stanley
on?
was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago.
What, so I get on the right hand bit there?
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've
The
gotten off on
walkway-
the wrong foot
yeah, okay,
here.
that one.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you
Oh, that
that
needs a
convinced that I
coffee.
want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Right, guys, red or blue pill?
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked... All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? I'm not saying I put a lot of time into that, because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing, because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what, let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Okay, guys, what should we do now? The new one or one of the old ones? No, I'm not sure either. I really need a wee, so I'm gonna run. And we can see how upset he gets. Right, I'm back. Has he gotten upset because I haven't done anything? Ugh.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look. Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life.
What the fuck just happened?
Will really take notice.
Where did this
But
game
of course,
just
the
go?
message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
That's the worst noise ever.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game, just to ease the pain? Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
So I really need to go, but I don't want to because.
Aha! Fascinating. What do you think this game is about, Stanley? What's our backstory?
It's so
What is
pretty.
our motivation?
Right. So if I. And then quit. Right. That's funny. Okay, I will have to come back to this. I want to do some research on all of the different endings and stuff because it is very good. But I can see that you sort of do loops if you don't quite pick the right one. So, but no, it's a very good game. And he is very funny. They did a very good job there. Well, thank you for joining in. I hope you have a lovely evening. It's beautiful sunshine out here today. And we'll see you soon. Bye!